Jupiter's tour through the Gemini twins, 2025 to 2026. Jupiter takes about 12 years to orbit the Sun, so therefore it spends about 1 year in each constellation of the zodiac before moving on to the next. It's Gemini's turn in 2025-2026. Highlights this apparition. Jupiter reaches the top of the zodiac. Jupiter reaches its northernmost point in its journey around the Sun as viewed from Earth. It's the most known point in the sky and makes Jupiter best viewed in the northern hemisphere. Jupiter and Earth are in the same plane right now. So, from Earth, the moons of Jupiter, as they go around it, will cross its disk. They would also cast shadows on its disk. The shadows are best visible. You have lots of doubles, lots of singles. Unfortunately, you don't get a triple one. I will highlight the best throughout the video. This apparition is bookended by spectacular Venus conjunctions. Yes, there was a great Venus conjunction with Jupiter in the morning sky, just as it popped out behind the Sun in the eastern sky. And just before Jupiter goes into the western sky later on in the year, it would also meet Venus. So we got two Venus conjunctions, both at significant elongation, so they're visible and spectacular. Jupiter continues to get further from the Sun as it heads towards aphelion. As such, this opposition will be 13% dimmer than the last opposition that occurred back in 2024. And the coolest event, there will be an Earth and Moon transit from the Sun as viewed from the Jovian system. Pick any moon of Jupiter or Jupiter itself, and the moon will cross the Sun first, followed by the Earth later. Maybe the Juno spacecraft can take a quick look and take a picture, but other than that, unfortunately, no one's going to see this. So let's begin now. Jupiter officially entered Gemini, actually during the last apparition, just before it reached superior conjunction. Your conjunction, Jupiter is on the other side of the Sun, as far away as it's going to get. Late July, this is pretty much when Jupiter first started to appear and emerge from the glare of the Sun. Jupiter and Venus conjunction. As mentioned before, Jupiter is bookended by two Venus conjunctions this apparition. This is the first one in the morning just before sunrise. The next one will be in the evening just before sunset. Venus is about 10 times as bright as Jupiter, being closer and much brighter. They make a nice pair throughout the fall, throughout the late summer and fall. Before Venus is swallowed by the Sun and Jupiter goes on. Wasset is Aramaic for middle, so it is the middle star of Gemini. It's about a magnitude 3, so it's clearly visible. It's Delta Gemini, that means it's the fourth brightest star in the constellation Gemini. Our first off-world event. Jupiter reaches opposition from Venus. So, for those on Venus, Jupiter's opposition. But Jupiter's only about 2/3 as bright from Venus as it is from Earth. And our first moon event, federal moon event, Europa eclipses Io shadow. Usually when the moons cross Jupiter's disk, you can't see them because the brightness of Jupiter outshines them and they become visible. In this case, Io's down here, casting its shadow across, and just happens to be where Europa is. So you could have seen it. Unfortunately, these events are very short, so they only happen in one location. This particular one was only visible in Portugal, Spain, and Northwest Africa. And a few days later, it happens again. This time the knot is centered, it's a little off, but there's Europa and Io again. This one was only visible in Japan and eastern Siberia. This last time, they're lined up perfectly, so the shadows will miss each other. But we still have a double-double. We have both Io and Europa's shadow on Jupiter. But at the same time, just before Io and Europa hit the disk, they will partially eclipse each other. Just barely. And we're at co-quadrature. Now Jupiter and Earth are on the same side of the Sun. Quadrature is when Jupiter and Earth are at right angles from the Sun. Now we have a Ganymede and Io double shadow event. Io and Europa have been putting on a good double show this whole time. But just a rare time that Ganymede and Io will show this time. Ganymede is the bigger shadow. Also, Ganymede is coming a little sharper angle, so it's a little distorted, not as round. And now we're at quadrature. Quadrature is different from co-quadrature. Quadrature is 190-degree angle. This time, Jupiter and the Sun from the Earth. Slightly different. So they're closer together the farther the planets are from each other. And when a planet is at quadrature, actually an outer planet's at quadrature from inner planet, from the outer planet, the inner planet is at greatest elongation. So here we are, here's Earth. It's only a meager 11 degrees, it's about as far as it gets from the Sun from Jupiter because it's much farther. Magnitude 1.35, not too shabby. That'd be a bright star. Like I said, at that low angle. One of Jupiter's moons, they have no atmosphere, so yep, you can probably see it. It's very low on the horizon, but visible. Jupiter will start retrograde motion. Now it's going to head backwards. The Geminids. The Gemini meteor shower. The annual meteor shower that always occurs around the 13th or 14th of December. Jupiter's in Gemini, so it's right there in center stage for the Gemini meteor shower. The Geminis have been actually pretty good these last couple of years. Unlike the Perseids, who are pretty much sucked these last couple of years. They've been terrible. Geminis have still putting on a great show. Fortunately, this year the moon rises about 1 o'clock in the morning, so lucky the Geminis kind of start early. So get out there before 1 in the morning and you should see some good shows. This is the closest full moon to Jupiter. As we get near opposition, and we're at Jupiter's closest approach. Since Jupiter is heading farther away from the Sun, towards aphelion, its farthest point, it's actually closer to Earth a day before its actual opposition. And what we've all been waiting for, opposition. Jupiter's in opposition, it's the opposite side of the Sun from the Earth. It's up all night. It's at its brightest. Opposition, there's a lot more cool stuff happening this day. First, also in opposition, Callisto eclipsed his own shadow. Since Jupiter is directly behind the Sun, unlike with Io and Europa before, Callisto is casting a shadow directly backwards onto the Jupiter, so it can eclipse its own shadow. But that's not the big event of the day. The big event will be the Earth and Moon transit the Sun as seen from the Jovian system. Here we are on Callisto. The Moon's crossing the Sun's disk. The Moon from Earth is at its last quarter, so it's greatest elongation as seen from Jupiter. They're side by side, and fortunately they won't cross the Sun at the same time. As you can see, the Moon goes first. And we'll do a little speed up here. Some moons like Galilean, they don't even see the Moon cross, it'd just be the Earth. We transfer over the Earth here. Earth is obviously much bigger than the Moon, so it's a bigger circle across the Sun. Yeah, this event won't happen again for another 29 years. Hopefully by then someone will be up there to see it. Yep, I was eclipsing no shadow here. Unfortunately, Earth will move away from Jupiter and get out of alignment. That by the time Ganymede and Europa cross its disk, they'll just miss their shadows. But at least we got 2 out of the 4 shadows this time around. Ooh, lots of moon events at the beginning of the new year. Here's another one. Now all the moons are at their extreme elongations. They're all as far as away they can get from Jupiter. About 98%, 98.7% of their most extreme. But for this apparition, this is the most they're apart. Not as full, but pretty close. Almost full moon. There's a blue moon in January, so you get almost full moons. 2 full moons next to Jupiter. I'm going way off world for this one. Jupiter is at its greatest elongation from Eris, the dwarf planet. Talking we're at 95.6 AUs from the Sun. Wow, that's very far. Jupiter at about 3.5 magnitude is just another star out there. Only 3 degrees from the Sun, but the Sun's also very dim, so you probably can see it. You can probably look right at it and not really burn your eyes out. And Jupiter ended its retrograde motion. Went back 10 degrees. Now we're start going forward again. Top of the zodiac. Jupiter's as high in the sky it's going to get. It's furthest north. We're at Eastern Quadrature. And like before, when an outer planet is at Quadrature, from the inner planet, the inner planet is at greatest elongation. So we'll go to Jupiter, or Callisto again. Still at about 11 degrees. Magnitude 1.39. I choose Callisto because Callisto is the furthest Galilean satellite, and it's out of Jupiter's radiation belt. It's unlike the 3 inner ones. So if there's ever a human colonization and deceased sites like this, it would be on Callisto probably first. And we're at quadrature. Now Jupiter is back on the other side of the Sun from the Earth. Io eclipses the Sun from Europa. The first of 2 this day. This one's visible in China and Southeast Asia. Since Io goes around Jupiter so fast, I'll actually get 2 eclipses in one day. This one is where Io is eclipsing Europa. It's on the same side as Jupiter. The next one will be Io when it's on the far side of Jupiter. which will be in a couple hours, and it will shift to the west. And here it is. This one's visible only in the Middle East. But since Europa and Io are kind of lined up in the same orbital plane, this is seen from Earth and the Sun, 3 days later we'll have another one. Again, this shifted to the west. Now this is visible in the eastern United States and Canada. From the looks, Jupiter's getting closer to the Sun, so it's kind of lost in the glow of dusk, kind of. So it's probably best in the southeast America. There's actually 2 on this day also. But the next one, I'm not going to include because it only takes place, only visible in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So unless you're on a boat, you're not going to see it. No one's going to see it. One last really cool event with Jupiter's moons is Io full eclipses Europa as it's being occultated by Jupiter. So right now, from Europa, Jupiter's blocking the Sun, so Europa's all in black. And Io is right in front of it. But Io is still not being blocked by Jupiter. So as we go, we'll increase the time. And once Europa gets out of Jupiter's shadow, it'll go pop up. Nice little magic trick. Too bad it's only visible in the Central Plains of America and northern Mexico. But cool nonetheless. And 206 days, and Jupiter finally ends up back where it started. And as mentioned, this is the second bookended Jupiter-Venus conjunction. This one's pretty spectacular. It's in June, so easy to get lost in the long dust of this time of year. But they're a nice pair in the western sky. Northwestern sky, kind of. The next Venus and Jupiter conjunction will be in November 2028. It'll be a morning conjunction again. The next evening one will be in 2029, in August. It'll only be visible from the southern hemisphere. So for those in the northern hemisphere, enjoy this Jupiter-Venus conjunction because it will be the last one, good one, until 2032. And this is Mercury's greatest elongation. I'm just including it here because Mercury can be very difficult to find, being so close to the Sun. But with Jupiter and Venus lined up, this is a perfect time to find Mercury. It's kind of pushing. Again, it's June, long dusk. It can be kind of hard. So, starting today, this day, on the 15th and a few days afterwards, Mercury should be able to be found. Nope, Jupiter officially leaves Gemini, enters Cancer. But this apparition's not quite over. Still a little bit left. And it's about as close as Jupiter's going to come to Mercury. Not really a conjunction here, but And it's over. Jupiter is now behind the Sun in superior conjunction. Its farthest point. This apparition's over. The next one will begin next year, where maybe in both Cancer and Leo. So hopefully we'll make a video for that one. Between there and now, hopefully I'll have a Mars and Venus video coming next. So if you enjoyed this, please subscribe and give a like. Thank you very much. Enjoy.